Hello, 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 everybody. Today we're going to be talking about the US 30. And why did I pick the US 30? Well, this is Freedom Week, and this is the first night episode. And this is my favorite trade. Out of all the trades, all the time I've been trading, right now, this is my favorite trade. Now, this might not be my favorite trader in the near future or future, but it's been my favorite trade for about a year at least. Before this, it was gold. Before that, it was the Euro USD. And then I liked USD, JPY. So I like different trades all the time. I'm kind of really looking into the Nas 100. It's probably my third favorite trade right now. I might move that up. Bitcoin, now that it got ETFs, Bitcoin is one of my favorites too. So let's get right into this. This is my number one favorite trade right now. If you ever ask me, you don't have to ask me anymore because you know US 30, or it's called the Dow Jones 30. And I am the beast trader. So we're going to talk about Dow Jones Inception. So what is Dow Jones and when did it start? Then next we're going to go into major Dow Jones events, the top highs, top lows, the biggest downtime, and the greatest uptime. And then we're going to talk about the US 30 meaning. What does it really mean? What does US 30 stand for? What is involved in the US 30? What makes up the US 30? The US 30 calculation. How did they come up with the calculation for the US 30? How does a company get added or taken out of the US 30? And we're going to go over the newest company that was placed in the US 30 in February of 2024. And then we're going to talk about how to trade US 30. What is a basic strategy to understand and trade the US 30? Number one, history of Dow Jones. Introduction. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, also known as the Dow 30, is a stock market index that tracks 30 large companies, publicly owned blue chip companies trading on the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ. The Dow Jones is named after Charles Dow, who created the index in 1896 along with his business partner, Edward Jones. And this is just a picture of, the beginnings to where it is right now. Just a little graph really quick for you. So the best year in the history of the index was 1915, when the index value increased by 81% to close at $99.15 points. And, that was such an amazing thing for it to go up 81% in 1 year is really beautiful. And that's the best year by percentage. 1929 to 1941 is the longest and deepest downturn in the history of the United States and the modern industrial economy. Lasted more than a decade, beginning in 1929 and ending during World War II in 1941. And a lot of people think that that's why we went into that war, World War II, because the economy was so downturned. If you guys remember, 1933 was a big year. A lot of stuff that started. That was when people did the bank run, the Great Depressions around this time. So this is one of the hardest times in the history of the United States. And the way to get out of that was to start, this big war, this world war, and everybody started producing, guns and weapons and ammunition and cars and everything like that because of the war. And it kind of took some people all the way down to the bottom, even bottom where they were at. And then some people, it turned on the economy and moved us back up, like what happened to us. The Great Depression is just a time in the US history that was one of the hardest times in the US history. I mean, just very, very tragic times. A lot of kids, a lot of adults died of starvation. And you would think, like in America, help wanted. There was signs that said only whites. If you were a black or Latino or anything, mostly black though, you're not going to be able to get a job. And so this is the time where a lot of black people died just because they couldn't get a job. They couldn't do anything. And, this is a lot of the time when they started doing the jazz movements and things of that sort, started doing major club things, started, forming gangs and things like that just to help them survive any way they could. And those people, they held up signs just in the average, place in cities in America. They would hold up signs. Why can't you give my dad a job? I mean, almost nobody had regular jobs anymore. If you had a job, it was like you were dang near Superman at this point. Very hard. This is a line, of people waiting for the food bank. And as you see, Everybody has on suits. Everybody has on these top hats. Everybody has these great outfits on, but they couldn't even afford food at this time. Money had got so scarce that they had to wait in line. It was called bread lines, where you would get a piece of bread or 2 pieces of bread to survive the next day. They didn't give you whole meals or anything. This is just like a line that's going to hand out a couple pieces of bread at the most to people that should be businessmen and people who were making a lot of money a year ago or a couple months ago. Amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. The best day in the history of the index was October 6, 1931, when the index value increased by almost 15%. Although it should be noted that this occurred one day after the Dow Jones experienced its 4th worst day of all time, dropping over 10%. So it dropped for 4 days straight, and this is during the time when it was the worst for the 10 years, like we just talked about. But one of the days when it was just dropping, it basically went up for 15%. But, 3 days before that, it might have dropped over 30%. And then one day it went back up 15%. And then the next day it dropped 10%. So this is just a time that we're going to note and say, yes, it is the largest percentage day. But the reason why it's the largest percentage day is because that's the day that the 3 days before in a row, the economy went down the most. On September 29, 2008, after Congress failed to pass a $700 billion bank bailout plan, the Dow Jones Industrial Average falls $777. At the time, the largest single-day point loss in its history. And so who was the president in 2008? Well, this is the time right when Bush was in office, and basically Obama was going to take over. He was going to be the next president when it occurred. But this time right here is when everything, the economy went to, they used to say the economy went to hell. I remember in 2008 going to the bank, and my bank closed. When I got there, the bank was closed, and everybody said they needed to go to the bank. There was big lines outside of all the banks in Atlanta, and everybody was trying to take their money out of the bank because there was things on the news where people had lost $150,000, $500,000. They couldn't get in. The bank just closed down. Now, some of these banks that were bailed out later on after they got it, people got their money back, but some people never got their money back. There was in these little banks in markets like Atlanta. I think there was a bank called like SunTrust just in Atlanta, and that bank closed. A lot of people lost a lot of money, a lot of mortgages, people's houses tanked. And this is just like the worst time in history that I have been a part of. I remember I had like 12 houses at this time, and within like 3 to 4 months, all my houses were going underwater, and I ended up losing every house but like 2 of those at the time. It was just, you couldn't sell a house at that time. No banks were giving out loans, and you couldn't buy a house at that time. No banks were giving out loans. It was basically the most stagnant economy that I ever been in. Dow Jones, US 12, US 20, and US 30. And we're going to talk about the history. It didn't start out as the 30 biggest companies. It actually started out as 12 stocks. So the Dow Industrial Average was originally formed in 1896 with just 12 stocks. And these were the 12 biggest companies in the United States. Then it was increased to 20 stocks in 1916. So, almost it was 20 years after inception. Then it went up to 20. Right now, 10 years after that, or 12 years after that, it went up to 30. And this is the same number that it is today. It's the same 30, stocks. And it's not the same companies, but it's only going to allow 30 in at a time. And 30 is the magic number that they believe, and they kept that alive since 1928. So that's been around for almost 100 years now, which is amazing. So what is the US 30? The US Wall Street 30 tracks the performance of the 30 largest publicly owned companies in the United States. Unlike market capitalization weighted indices, such as the DE 30 or the UK 100, the US Wall Street 30 is a price weighted index. 30 stocks which make up the Dow Jones Industrial. These are the 30 stocks, and I had to add one of these and take out another one. So M3 or 3M, that makes plastic. Most of you guys don't know what that is. American Express, Amgen, Amazon, Apple, Boeing, Caterpillar, Chevron, Cisco Systems, Coca-Cola, Disney, Dow, Goldman Sachs, Home Depot, Honeywell, IBM, Intel, Johnson & Johnson, JP Morgan Chase, McDonald's, Merck, Microsoft, Nike, Procter & Gamble, Salesforce, Travelers, Uber, and the United Health, Visa, and Walmart. And so what do you notice on these stocks? What do you guys notice? You guys probably notice most of them because these are the biggest companies and they're in every city, every town, you know, every state. They're everywhere in the United States. And some of these are even in other countries, which is so amazing. But these are the big 30 and they're to do with everything. And they're in different categories and we'll go over that in a little while. What is the US 30? The index often faces criticism because it is a price weighted average, which means a higher price stock will have a greater influence over the index than those with a lower price and thus does not take into account percentage change. Additionally, many feel its inclusion of merely 30 stocks is not an accurate representation of the overall US market performance. And it isn't. And that's why they got the NAS 100 with the 100 stocks, and then they got the SPX 500 with 500. And probably, you know, the 500 is more realistic because some of these 30s are so big that it basically, if one of those goes down or up, the whole 30 will go down and up. And with the 500, it's different. Like if one thing or two things go down or up, it's not going to make everything fluctuate so much. So it's more predictable. When investors want to know how the stock market is doing, they turn to the stock indexes like the Dow Jones Industrial, commonly known as the Dow. It is a collection of 30 blue chip American companies that, when taken together, provide a snapshot of the overall stock market. When the Dow ends the trading day higher, investors take that to mean that the overall market is up. When the Dow ends the day lower, the market is down. So what is that saying? That's saying these 30 are so important to big investors, governments that are going to invest in things, and institutions, because all you got to really look at is if these 30 companies are doing good, then most of the companies in the United States are going to be doing good. If they're doing bad, then most of the companies in the United States are doing bad, because these are the ones that basically are going to drive the United States. What makes a company a US 30 consideration and what brings them into the fold? A component, number A, is a component of the Dow may be dropped when a company becomes less relevant to current trends of the economy to be replaced by a new name that better reflects the shift. A. B. The divisor is a predetermined constant that is used to determine the effect of a 1-point move in any of the approximately 30 stocks that comprise the Dow Jones. C. There are no rules for Dow inclusion. There is only a broad guide that requires large, respected, and substantial firms with high stock prices in general. These firms represent a large portion of the economic activity in the United States. US 30, how do you calculate the US 30? You know, it's so confusing to people that don't have an economic major, and even if you do, it might still be confusing. So the calculation, the points on the Dow 30 index is calculated by dividing the total of all share prices on the index divided by the Dow divisor. The divisor, what is that? The Dow divisor is updated when a company on the index completes a stock split, as it can impact the share price of that company. And this is something that Walmart had a stock split this year, February 26, 2024. And basically it kind of messed up the US 30, and the US 30 had to recalibrate, add something, and drop something out. And we'll talk about that in a second. Weighted. The Dow is a price-weighted index, which means that each component company is weighted according to its share price. The impact. Higher-priced companies have a larger weight than lower-priced companies, and so their movement has a bigger impact on the index overall value. What causes US 30 to move? Well, because that's what we care about, because we're trading in the market. So we need to know, why would it go up? Why would it go down? So some of the biggest factors which influence sentiment are rapidly changing energy prices, war and terrorism, and political unrest or gridlock. Uncertainty tends to have a major impact on investor sentiment and their willingness to invest in the equities that make up the Dow Jones. The Dow is influenced by major economic data, such as the rate of unemployment or inflation, geopolitical events, and the decision of the Federal Open Market Committee, more commonly referred to as the Fed. Since the United States is the largest global economy and the USD is the reserve currency of the world, the decisions of the Fed to alter their monetary policy wields a tremendous influence on the markets in general, but tends to have a more pronounced impact on the US 30. Understanding trading the US 30. Number one, as a price weighted index, the performance of the 30 stocks on the US Wall Street 30 can have an extensive impact on the entire US stock market. Trading takes place between New York Stock Exchange hours 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. weekdays, Eastern Time. Number two, what pair correlates with the US 30? Anytime you're trading, you always want to know what correlates to it, because that might move faster than the other one, or it might move slower. So you kind of want to trade those together to get the best occurrence of when stuff is going to change. So the correlation between the USD versus Japan, the yen, and the Dow Jones is one of the strongest in all financial markets. So to find out what the US 30 is going to do, if it's going to go up or down, sometimes the US versus Japan will go up or down first, or the US 30 will go up and down. And then you can predict, at a high ratio that the other one is going to do the same thing. What time is US 30 most volatile? Regular trading begins at 9:30 Eastern Time, so the hour ending at 10:30 a.m. is often the best trading time of the day. It offers the biggest moves in the shortest amount of time. Many professional day traders stop trading around 11:30 a.m. because that's when volatility and volume tend to taper off. So the best time to trade is when 9:30 is the opening bell. Some people don't like the opening bell because it moves a little bit too fast for them. So they'll wait a half an hour to an hour and then jump in and see where the trend is and go with that. And so that's why that's the most volatile and the best time to trade this predictable. Number four, contract for differential trading. That's what we do. If you guys don't know what it is, it's called CDT trade. Of the various indices available around the world, the US 30 is one of the best known options available to traders, offering an easy way to get exposure to 30 of the United States' largest companies. New, what's in and what's out. So in February 26, 2024, Amazon enters into the Dow, Walgreens exits out. You guys remember Walgreens was so big. You still see them on the corners, but you don't see them as much, and they're not making as much as they used to make. So that's why they said, Amazon, come in. Why would they do that? Let's talk about that. The reason why this really happened is because the change was made to reflect the evolving nature of the American economy, increase consumer retail exposure, give investors more exposure to other assets or areas such as advertising and cloud computing, more accurately reflects the importance of the tech industry on the US economy, reflect the dominance of the Magnificent Seven tech companies. Man, these seven companies are so dominant. They dominate the US 30, they dominate the NAS 100, and they dominate the SPX 500. The Dow is a price-weighted index, which means that stocks with higher prices are given more weight, and Amazon is one of the biggest companies in the world. It came almost overnight. I think it's been around for a little bit over 20 years, and it's already one of the biggest companies. The other companies on here are like Chevron and things that's been around for hundreds of years, it seems like. So Amazon is really one of the biggest, and another one that's trying to get in there is Facebook and Nvidia. They're in the NAS 100, and they're like taking over that one. They're really big too. So the reason why this happened in February 26, 2024 is because of Walmart. Walmart split its stock on this day. And because that was gonna make Walmart not look so big, remember it's because of prices, right? So it was gonna make Walmart not look so big on the US 30. So because they were losing their big player in Walmart, even though Walmart was making more money, when the stock split, it made it so the money that basically you would pay for a Walmart stock was way down. So it doesn't have that much weight on the US 30, which is, I would spend about an hour or 2 hours just on that concept. So you understand how one company is way bigger, but it looks small because the company split its stock. That's a whole nother video, I feel like. But just remember that Walmart split its stock, bringing it down lower. They needed something to kick in and be one of the top, 5 in there. So they looked around and they said Amazon was that one. They could have also went with other ones, but they went with Amazon. This is what it looks like. So a heat map of today, October 2024. So as we look, what is the biggest company on here? It's Apple. And as you look up here, It's electronic technology. Apple, Cisco, Home, INTC, and BA. These are the sections where our electronic technology. Retail, trade, Amazon. Look how big Amazon is. It came in just in February, like I told you, but it's one of the biggest. It's the third biggest here, right? So this is retail trade. And what does retail trade mean? It means you're going to go into a store online and buy stuff. Amazon, Walmart, and Home Depot. Then you got finance, JP Morgan, American Express, Goldman Sachs, and Travelers. Then you got technology services. What is the biggest one? Microsoft. It's always the biggest, right? It's almost as big as Apple. Apple went a little bit bigger than it because Apple, didn't split as many times as Microsoft. But if you look overall, Microsoft is a bigger company because of the time it's been around. CRM. This is a big company called Salesforce. And this is what a lot of companies around on this software, IBM. Right, then you got health technology, J&J, Johnson & Johnson, Merck. We know what that is. They made some of the COVID shots. AMGN. Then we look at the commercial services, Visa. Only one. Consumer services, McDonald's, Disney. We all know that one. Energy and producers. Energy is Chevron. Producer, Cat, and 3M. They make plastic. Communications, Verizon, and I don't know what that one is. It's the only one I don't know. Health services, UNH, United Health, is one of the biggest health services in the world. Consumer non-durables, P&G, Coca-Cola, and Nike. So that what makes up the US 30 as of today. It will change in the future. Remember, Amazon came in, Walmart got out. Most important thing to look at while trading US 30. Index trading is a popular, easy way to invest in a group of businesses or a representation sample of the country's largest companies without being forced to invest in individual companies. You can invest in Apple by itself, but one thing about Apple is it can go up and down really quick. Now, if you're with the top 30 companies, if Apple goes down or up really quick, it's going to make Dow Jones go up and down, but it's going to be more stable because it's based off of 29 different companies and Apple instead of just Apple. In general, experts also recommend watching the 200-day moving average as a reliable indicator of whether to take a bullish or bearish view. So the moving average, the 200-day moving average, can tell you if the market should go up as bullish or it should go down, which means bearish. Traditional chart patterns and technical indicators to spot short-term trading opportunities that capitalize on US 30's volatility. Companies with the greatest influence on this index include 3M, Boeing, Chevron, Goldman Sachs, Home Depot, Apple, Visa, and Amazon. Economic events to watch: inflation of the US dollar, treasury yields, industry disruption that affects US 30 companies like going to war, a terrorist doing something like 9/11. These things will really hurt our companies because people aren't going to be out buying. People are going to be out home scared. Pay close attention to global economic news, especially job reports and other indicators of economic health. And that's it, you guys. That's all that we have. And hopefully you guys learned a lot about this US 30. It's my favorite trade. And I want you guys to really key in and know what's going on so you guys can make a lot of money with it. Right now, I'm going to make it so anybody could talk, and just unmute yourself. And please ask me any question you guys want to know about this. Go ahead. I just undid the mute. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, well, no questions is always a good thing. That means that I probably went over some great information and you guys understand it. Let me go ahead and go right here and look at something for us. And I wanted to show the companies that made up. Companies that make up the US 30. let's look at this. This is the list of today. This isn't really a good list because you can't really see it. I wanted one that had like the market cap, and I think this is the one I was looking at earlier. So this is the Dow 30 right here, you guys. Let me make it a little bigger. And this is what it looks like. So we got Amazon, American Express, Argon, Apple, Boeing. And, you know, these are the prices of it right here. And as you see, different prices, different weights. The change in the market is here, the low and the highs of today. And so these are all the companies. And I believe that one in the bottom corner, or we could look. Let's go and look, because I don't know what this one is right here, but all you have to do on the heat map is click over and it says the Dow. You see it right here on the bottom. When I push this, and it's the Dow. So the Dow Inc. Dow Inc. is a material science company which engages in development of innovative solutions. $50 a share. This is Verizon right here, M3, Travelers Insurance. So I'm looking at any one. There's so little that you really couldn't see. Look at Nike. Nike, everybody. Nike's pretty big. This is Amazon. Look how big Amazon. You can see its market cap is 2. Let's see Apple. Apple's market cap is 3.5, which is super big, 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 big. Microsoft, 3.2 market cap, $1 trillion. Now we can go, let's go to Walmart, 656 billion market cap, and you see them everywhere. So that tells you how big Amazon really is, and Apple and Microsoft, because Walmart is huge. And who doesn't have a Home Depot down the street from where they live? This is $392 billion. So, you know, almost Walmart is twice as many that you'll see probably, right? Let's go to, I want to take you guys to something that I think is really cool, and I think you guys will like. Crypto, Bitcoin. Everybody heard about it, right? How much is Bitcoin's market cap? And this is the volume. Okay, the market cap is right here, $1.4 trillion. So Bitcoin, if we say Bitcoin is 1.4 trillion, Ethereum is $317 billion. So these new coins, new form of currency are 1.4 and 300 billion. And then we go back and we look at now how big, we want to see how big the US 30 is, right? Let's go back and look at that. And we look here and we say Amazon is 3.5, Bitcoin was 1.4. So Apple is worth double what Bitcoin is worth. Microsoft is. Amazon was $2 trillion. That's bigger than Bitcoin itself, right? Microsoft or Walmart is worth 600. So Bitcoin is more valuable than Walmart is. Isn't that amazing? It's almost 2 times bigger than, or worth 2 times what Walmart is. And then if we look at Home Depot, it was 392. So Ethereum is almost equal to Home Depot. And think about Ethereum and Bitcoin just came out. It's just amazing what crypto's doing. And it's crazy because I feel like, you know, these top things, if Bitcoin was made in America, they would have it up here probably in the US. You know, if they had a coin that was made in America, that was really big, they might have it in here because of its market cap and everything like that, but it doesn't. So are there any questions, anybody? Then I am muted, everybody. Well, we ran through that at 7:30. That's beautiful. And tomorrow we're going to have more knowledge, and hopefully people ask questions. I can go deeper into details about everything. But today we're learning about my #1 trade. And tomorrow I want you guys to be ready. Be ready tomorrow. We have another episode tomorrow at 6 a.m. in the morning. I already put the link out there, you guys. The same link as this one. You guys are going to jump on at 7, and we're going to be trading, and we're going to be going over what broker I use really quick. I'm just going to explain that maybe to 5-6 minutes. I'm going to tell people I'm going to give them a link, tell them to sign up with it. And then I want you guys to get a demo account, and I want you guys to start trading with me tomorrow. Take the trades that I tell you to take. Let's look at today what happened in the market. So we had US 30. We took 2 trades and we won both of those. It was beautiful. And then we said gold was going to go up for the week. This is where we told you gold was going to go up. And as you remember, this is right here where we started at, and it went up all day. Does anybody take that trade? Because this trade is what? Up how much? $23. And our bot is telling us to keep on taking this trade. Look at how the bot won here, the bot won here, the bot won here, the bot won right here, and the bot's telling us to take another trade going up. Do we think it's going to continue to go down right here if the bot says to go up, and we just won 4 trades with the bot telling us what to do? I think it's going to go up again. And this is from the 15 minutes. Let's look at the hour view, because the auto bot only takes trades on the hour and 4 hours. Okay, so beautiful. So this is the 4 hours, and the bot told us to take a buy. So the bot won money right here already in the morning before we even told everybody to take this trade for the week. So this is very beautiful. It's way up, and we're saying it's going to go up for the week. So you guys could have already made the money you wanted. I mean, I might have told you guys, take money at $10 up, and it's already at $23 up in half of a day. So this is a great, great trade. What is the other trade that we took for the week? We took a Bitcoin trade for the week. Is it up? We took it right here. Look at it. It's up, 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 and away. Up here, we won. Up right here, we won on the 15 minutes. So if we would have took bot trades, we would have won each time again. And we got this at 71,000, and now it's at 71,100. It's $1,300 up right now since when we took that trade. Does anybody think they won any money from Bitcoin if you guys would have took the trade that I told you to take? Line right here. Let's look over the 30 minutes, the hour. This is the hour right here. So the bot told us to take a trade going up right here. What happened? It went up. We would have made money right here. In the 4 hours, this is what it looks like. It hasn't taken a trade for the 4 hours yet. But would you guys had won by listening to the beach trader tell you where to take the trade? Yes, you would have. It's way up right now. Would you guys would have won with the bot? Yes. So either me or the bot, you guys would have had good trades so far starting out this week. And you guys, I guarantee you, if you would have did one lot right here, let me just show you guys something. Wait up. Before we get off, I'm going to show you guys. If you would have took a one lot trade when I told you 2 in the morning, and I told you to take it for the whole week, and this is where it's at right now. Now, we're not even going to go to where it went to. It went way up here today. Okay. It went way up here. But we're just going to talk about it just going up to this green line. If we got out right now, let's say you didn't even look at it. If you would have had one lot, you would have at least made $10,000 already off of one lot. If you would have had 10 lots, you would have made $100,000, $20,000, $120,000. So this is really serious. You guys just don't know that Bitcoin could change your life just by what I predicted and what I gave you. Let's go to gold and let's see how much we could have made. We're not even going to go to the top that it did today, way up here. We're just going to go where this red line is, because that's where it's currently at. And we started out right here. We're going to go up from here and see how much money will we made to the red line. You would have made $20,000. It went up $21 from this morning to right now, this second. You would have made $20,000 with one lot. If you would have done 10 lots, you would have made $200,000. So this is serious. Let's just say you did, 0.5 lots. Or let's do an easier number to calculate. Let's say because 0.1 would be, or 0.01 is 1 cent. Let's just say you did 10 cents a lot. So at 10 cents a lot, that's where we are right now. You would have made $2,000 today in taking this trade right here. Beautiful. Beautiful. So I think we're winning as a group. If you guys want to learn, you guys want to stay consistent, I want you guys to continue. This is Freedom Week. That's going to be, 1 week access for free to everything with the Beast Trader system. So I want you guys to go ahead and invite your friends, family members, tell everybody that you've been telling that you're trading and they want to trade with you. They want to make money like this. Give it to everybody. Invite them. It's free right now. It can't hurt anybody. So it's free. So let them get excited. Let them understand that you could push a button and change your life every day. Push the button for an hour to 2 hours a day and make more than you make when you're going to work or sitting down on a computer. Love you guys. God bless. Have a good day. God bless everybody.